We are here today at the Portland Boat Show, and there's all kinds of boats here. We've got ski boats, fishing boats, and over there's some yachts. I'm gonna look mostly at the fishing boats today. We'll probably look a little bit at the yachts. Not going to go so much through the ski boats, not my jam. And we'll see what other kind of stuff we can run into today. And actually, I'm just gonna start right at the beginning here in the Stevens Marine booth. Start over here on this 26-footer. Here we've got Alumaweld Horizon. This is a what I would call an intermediate offshore boat, so it's built similarly to my 22-foot North River, except that this is a hardtop, and this is a 26-footer, like 26 feet long, but the depth and hull shape look to be pretty similar to my North River. Twin 150s. Oh. Ooh, I like this. Sliding door. Locking in position sliding door. That sliding door is a lot nicer than the swing doors that come on a lot of offshore boats. Tons of gunnel storage in here. So unlike the boats that have like a forward-leaning windshield, which we'll look at one later, this doesn't have a cabin, obviously. It's just an open bow with the drains for when water splashes over and fills that area. I like that they've got this helm elevated too, so you can flush mount your fish finders. That makes for a really clean install. And plenty of room back here for a diesel heater vent as well to keep your windshield nice and dry. Some rod storage right there. Rod storage over here. Oh, this is for the front end of the rod storage, and then you've got actual top access right here. That's nice. I kind of want to add something like this to my boat to take advantage of the unused space under the deck and the floor. I like that. Nice big gunnel trays down here too. Rear helm for trolling. Nice big live well. Is this a top tank? No, that's just a stuff storage. Let's see what the batteries look like in here. Where are the batteries? I'm 6'3" and I've got, not gonna hit my head. I like that. Here we've got a 24-foot version of the same boat. This one's got a soft drop curtain in the back. I also like the raised side here to help keep more water out of the bow area, even though it is open in the front for an anchor. A couple of sleds here of different sizes. This is a Supervee. Supervees are really common for recreational guys that want to take their family out for salmon trolling, but don't want to deal with a windshield, or maybe they don't have the overhead space for a windshield where they store the boat. They'll run these to run a similar setup to fishing guides, but in a less expensive setup. And here we've got the Columbia. This is kind of the king of the guide boats in the Pacific Northwest. A lot of guides will run 6 seats with a 6-pack license, and they'll have themselves in the back plus a deckhand that'll sit up front. So this is their new Columbia XL, and the standard Columbia is 82 inches at the chine. I'll just hold this here for you to pause it. And we come over here to the XL, and the chines are 90 inches, so it's 8 inches wider of a boat. That's a wide boat. Standard Columbia is 101 inches, and this is 109. So like, think that much on either side. Like that's that much more fishing room on either side. That's a lot of extra room down the middle with the seat boxes. I want to say this, yeah, it looks like the sides are also taller as well, although it could be sitting higher up off the floor too. But I believe the sides are a couple inches taller, which is good for ocean fishing. And I know this guide doesn't use these seat boxes. I think he likes to use seat pedestals because he can move them wherever he wants to. Huge Fishfighter box in the back. Plus some extra storage down here. Can't wait to see that on the water this year. That is a really cool boat. A couple of Alumaweld Strykers here. I like the rigid frame on this one. Good visibility out the sides still, unlike mine. Got the hard top but the soft front. So you can remove the front for visibility and still have your top on. It's kind of kicker bracket I wish my boat had. Instead of being down on the offshore bracket, I like that this is up and attached and on the starboard side. A lot easier access to the controls. Although I would say this could be a fair bit closer in. I think it should be like right here personally, but that's just me. I also like this one big box that's in the back of this instead of the two that are on mine. But my boat is bigger. All right, let's see what Duckworth has here. Duckworth makes some pretty Gucci boats, very well optioned, but they've got a lot of attention to detail from what I've seen with things like their cleats, and I've always liked their welds. They don't really have a boat that works for me for every single spec, but look at that. I like the handrails up there too. Door frame as well, so that door comes up and closes underneath that lip, and that's what keeps the water out. It can be a little bit of a head knocker, but overall it's easier to get in and out of that door because you don't have to unsnap the snaps across the front like you do on my boat. All you have to do is pop your latches and open it. Whereas on my boat, I have to, from the inside, undo the snaps, unzip it a little, at least a little bit in order to get out. And it's a heck of a hunch over to get out the door, getting underneath that if I don't open the top all the way, or open up that center section all the way. But when I don't have the top on, it is easier to get in and out the front. Not that I get in and out the front often, but it does happen from time to time. '22 Pacific Pro. So this is the Duckworth hardtop version of my boat. I love transom doors like this. Makes it so much easier getting in and out. Soft rear curtain that is not on. I like these storage trays up here. It's also really, normally I do not like carpet in boats, but this is actually kind of nice being inside. It shouldn't get any salt in it, and on the ceiling it should stay clean, and it really reduces the echoing that you typically have in a hardtop that doesn't have the carpet. However, I'm not a fan of the carpet that's down on the sides here, even though this is inside. Having carpet down here where it could get salt water on it, even though it is inside of the enclosed cabin, that's a no-go for me. Nice big spot for a 12-inch fish finder. Oh, nice. That's an awesome little design feature. Cup holders. And it magnets. That's cool. storage underneath for your life jackets and emergency stuff. Good anchor rope storage. It's a really well-built anchor nest area here too. Looks like the water just drains out the sides here, so there's no special ducting for that. Some boats will have the handrail right here, and that is also a gutter drain so like you just have a tube that comes all the way up like this, and that doubles as a gutter drain that kicks the water overboard instead of just dripping down here and dripping down the side. That'll leave streaking over time as you're while it's parked outside. So having an actual gutter drain to get the water, keep the water off of the outside of the boat is good. Also, you may notice there's a hole there and there's another hole right up there. That other drain hole is right up here, which, if your window's open, it could drip water into the window. Now, if you have water up there, it's probably raining. You probably don't have the window open, but you may need to have it cracked for some reason. It's just a little detail that I notice. I also like the rod storage down there. Good use of space. And the floor drains, I'm noticing. Good toe kick there too. Oh, and they've got cup holders built into the rails. That's really nice. Back here too. Duckworth is they make a good boat. I actually really like a lot of their design features. They had great attention to detail in a lot of their boats. I'll show you the outside of this one. This is the 24 Pacific Pro. This one, oh, it's 22. Oh, this one's just on a trailer. That's why it looks bigger. Huh. Well, we're not going to look at this one. It does have the Alaskan bulkhead, so the hard bulkhead with a rear helm. And you can see it's got the twin controls for running both Yamahas. I believe with Yamaha's digital system, those controls will also run the kicker as well, I think. I'm not 100% sure on that. All right, I found the Thunder Jets. But again, this was a 24, 22. 22-foot sled. We're on a jet foot on this one. Those are some stout seat box mounts. Holy cow. I'll give you some of the stoutest seat box mounts I've ever seen. I also like that they've got the Fishfighter rail system installed on this one. These rail systems are amazing. I personally run the Fish ENG. This one's the Fishfighter. They've both got some pluses and minuses, but being able to position your rod holders wherever you want, and also getting the rod out over the gunnel is absolutely amazing. Because the butt of the rod will stick into right here. So imagine if this was another foot in, that puts the butt of the rod way back here. And so being able to slide that back and forth on the boat custom and have it out over the edge of the boat, huge, huge advantage. I also really like that this one has the cleats on the inside and it's protected by the rail here, so you don't get your net caught on the cleat. My cleats are up on top of the gunnel. It gives an opportunity for the net to get caught on the cleat, and that's not conducive for landing your fish. Big fish hold. A little bit of a smaller electronics box than what we saw on Cameron's boat earlier, but still a nice electronics box. I really wish I had an electronics box on my boat. I'm considering getting one made for it and installing one. That way I've got it protected. It's a Thunderjet 22 Chinook Offshore, which is the hardtop variant of my boat from Thunderjet. See how big the fish box is in this. I like this cutting board integrated into the tank there, but what I don't like is this is not a dry system, so any water from fish that you cut up here, any water is just going to drain down in here, which means you're putting fish slime in here. Yeah, this should be a dry system that carries the water away from the box. That inside of that box stays dry when you use your wash down hose to wash the fish guts off the back or the slime off the back, and then it doesn't go down through that hinge into the box where you might have stuff stored. And this boat, I think, could also benefit from having the kicker bracket forward and up, so that you have the option of running a tiller as well. The way this is laid out, even with an extension, you couldn't reach a tiller. Nice big benches. If I had a hardtop, I think benches like this are okay. But because I use my boat kind of as a sled, kind of as a standard enclosed cabin boat, the benches rather don't work for me. I have to have the seat boxes so I can move them around and add and subtract them as needed. So this is the style of windshield when we were looking at the Duckworth over there that had the hoop. This one's like mine where you have to unsnap it and at least partially unzip it before you can open up the door. I really liked the design of the Duckworth one. I kind of used to not like the partial hardtops, but I'm seeing some advantages of that actually. It is less canvas to have to replace, and you still have the option of removing the front canvas for visibility. My problem with these is this is a hardtop with the front canvas, but you also can't remove this hardtop at all. That wouldn't work for me, and that also doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I would think just make all of that hard. Some manufacturers have it set those doors open up on the, or set those are doors on the top that open up so you can see. It's a design that's been in use for years and a lot of people like it. And here we have some boats for the tiny boat guys. 17-foot Lund. I actually really like the layout and design of this. For a tiny boat, good battery storage, good life jacket storage up here. Comes with a live well. Rod storage down the sides. With the exception of this style of pedestal seats, this boat makes a whole lot of sense. What we got in here, 20, 25, nice. This will scoot. This should do about 28 miles an hour with that 25 horse on there. Nice cover for the fuel and main battery storage there. 5 persons, according to that sticker. I don't know that I'd want to fish with 5 people on here. That's a really well-designed tiny boat. We step up a foot into a 17-footer here. Price difference. $17,000. Then you go for the wider version, that's $37,000. This is more of a tiller-operated bass boat, though. For that price, this should definitely be dry hatches, not wet hatches. When it rains, when you get water in here, water's just gonna wash down in here and get on your stuff. For $40,000, those should be dry hatches. This should also be dry hatch, and even if the water jettisons out the back that way, This should be dry so you're not getting water sticking in with your rods at the price point we're talking about here. Live well. Little butterfly net. For this class of boat, 100% agree with the use of a tiller on this. I wouldn't want a boat this small. I had a boat that was 16 feet long. That was a windshield boat, and you lose so much good fishing space with a windshield on a small boat. Having a tiller on anything shorter than 18 feet is money. We have an 18-footer right here, and you can see this boat is only a foot longer than this one. 1 foot longer. And you're losing 2 feet of space with the windshield, plus you have to watch your backswing with your rod on such a small boat. Overall, it looks to be about the same layout. Yeah, with the consoles, you lose a lot of space. Here's a 16-footer with a console, and you see how tight this is in here, especially when you start throwing in the storage area back here. Like, if this wasn't console and if the deck was just that much longer, you have the same amount of storage space. Get rid of that storage space, put it up here, then you have the same exact amount of storage space, and all of this is now very usable fishing space. Yeah, okay, you don't have the comfort of sitting behind a windshield. I don't know. I like small boats to be tiller boats and not windshield boats. It just leaves so much more room for activities. Now here we have an 1875 Impact. This is wider by a fair bit. This is a good bit wider than the Explorers. We're also talking $63,000 for a brand new boat versus $41,000 and $37,000 for the smaller version. But space-wise, now we're getting into the size of boat where having a windshield isn't too much of an impact on your fishing experience because you have a wider boat. I also really like that this has the jump seats in the back. That's cool. Fold those down and have usable fishing space, fold them up and have them a spot for people to ride. But to me, this, oh, here we go, dry hatches. Nope, not dry hatches. Is there a drain anywhere? There is not. So water could, yep, see my finger right there? Maybe not. What if we do this? Haha, can you see light? I don't know, we'll see if you can see light. Anyways, right here is a spot that water could get in to this hatch. They have the beginnings of a dry hatch here, and at least this has a gasket on it to try to keep water out, but water's gonna get in right there. Almost $70,000 for this boat, and no dry hatch. Right here. Oh, trolling motor. That's a cool little feature. Got drain holes in the back so it doesn't collect water. Put your trolling motor pedal in there and mount the bow mount up top here. Deeper storage. And again, an attempt-ish at dry, but not truly dry storage because there's no gutter. So if you took a wave over the bow, water could still get in there. Ooh, especially, I just noticed this, when this closes down, this will hit this. That part of the gasket is going to get torn up over time. I'm not sure how I feel about this design decision here, personally. So you've got a nice glove box right here, which is cool, but you also have a big flat spot for somebody to accidentally set their phone and for their phone to then end up falling off. Obviously, there's other spots up here where people could set their phone, but sometimes people set their phone down where it's convenient, and that's a little bit too convenient without having a lip here to set something. Got an Alumacraft here. Tiller 185, 18 footer. Holy cow. Hold on. Look at that. That's a cool design. This is basically float pods built into the boat. So when you're sitting at rest, you've got on the outside, you've got these two giant pods helping support the boat to make it more stable. But then when you're on plane, they come up out of the water and let the V-hull do its job and cut through the water, giving you a smoother ride. That's a really cool design element. Let's see here. Start popping hatches. Maintenance. And switches and maintenance. This is a cool bass boat. I actually really like this. Except for the fact that it has carpet inside of it and your electronics box. Okay, here we go. Found a problem. You've got your electronics box and it's not a dry hatch. That should absolutely be a dry hatch. I do like the rail here though. Rod locker. I'm not gonna beat him up too much on not having a dry hatch for the rod locker on this particular boat, but the electronics hatch should be dry. Really nice rod locker. And it looks like, oh, tackle storage underneath. Oh no, that's batteries underneath there. Look at that. It's a plastic tub, so it's lightweight. Metal supports for the lid. It has 8 holes, but they're extra big, so you could probably fit 10 or 15 rods in there. Dry storage here. So this is a plastic molded with a lip, so water cannot get in there. That is a dry hatch, and so are both of those. I really like the design of that. And it's under this trolling motor tray. So if you're not running a trolling motor, you just leave that on. And if you're running a trolling, ooh, look at this. Spot for your phone and a big spot for up to what looks like a 12-inch fish finder built in right here, and plenty of places to run wires out cleanly. And a waterproof something. Not sure what that is. Oh yeah, you got dry storage right there too, or live well. That's a live well, but it can also be dry storage. With a 115, which I think is plenty of motor for this boat, 48,000, 150, 57,000. That is expensive, especially for a riveted boat. But overall, that's actually a really, really well designed and well thought out boat. Only a couple of little nitpicks there with a couple of hatches that I think should be dry hatches, especially the electronics one. Yeah, I guess that was my only real nitpick on this boat. Very well designed boat. I like that one. Still in the Alumacraft area. Gonna take a quicker look at a couple of others now that I've nerded out on that one. 175. So we have a 17-footer here. Just do a quick little rod locker, not dry storage, wish that was. See what we have up here. This is not dry storage up here. That's all water's gonna get in there. Less features on this, but also for a much lesser price. Smaller boat, doesn't have those cool float pods on it. That was a really cool feature on the Competitor. It is a smaller boat, narrower, 75, and it is 35,000. Just still absurd to me for a boat of this size and style. Like, in 2019, you could buy a used boat like my 22-foot North River. You could buy that for around $34,000. That's insane. What boats cost now. Absolutely insane. 16-footer for $27,000 with a windshield. This is why I don't like windshields on 16-footers. If these two seats could be farther forward, you have much more room. This is too tight. This is way too packed. I would never do a windshield on a 16-footer. If that was my only option for storage, I think I would just live with a tiller. And if we had inclement weather that needed an enclosure, then get a soft cap for the front of it. If I find one later, I'll show it. But I mean, even here we have, let's see here, this is a Classic, so this is an Escape. This one looks like it's a narrower beam, a good bit narrower beam comparatively. And that's a 70 horsepower, this is a 50 horsepower, both of them 16-foot boats. The side console, again, losing a lot of good fishing space here. I'm expecting this to all be wet storage, yeah. That's all wet storage. I gotta say, seeing these in person has changed my opinion on Alumacraft. I always thought of them as like a really budget boat, but these seem to be really well designed. Like these gunnel extrusions, that's an extremely strong way to build a boat. And of course you have all this extra support structure down either side that gives your sides some support. This is way stronger of a gunnel extrusion than what came on Smokercraft Alaskans or a lot of older boats that, oh, actually, hey, here we go. This style of gunnel extrusion. I mean, this boat doesn't need to be nearly as stout as this one per se. A lot of times you would see larger boats with this style of gunnel extrusion on the riveted boats, and it's not nearly as robust as these ones or like on the Competitor over there. I don't know how I feel about this boat. What's the price? $10,000? If I was in the market for a boat like this, I would not be buying a brand new one at that price. This is a 14-footer. I'm guessing that's 48, that might be 52 inches wide. I would not be paying that price for a boat like this though. I would be finding one used that comes fully kitted out. I don't see why anybody would spend $10,000 on a brand new 14-foot boat. I have a 15-footer for sale right now. I have it listed for 8. I'm hoping to get 7. I might have to go down to 6 for it. And that comes almost fully kitted out. You're getting way more boat for less money. And my boat comes with a 30 horse, this comes with a 9.9 for that $10,000. There's a lot to be said for the used market. I can understand some of these other models. I can understand somebody wanting to buy new so that it's their boat, but if you're buying a 14-footer, for the capabilities this boat has, for the fishing space this boat has, you can do a lot better used. Back into a big boat here. Custom weld. I have actually never been in a custom weld. I like what I see so far with the flotation bracket. So these offshore brackets, there's a couple different styles. This one is flotation, meaning that it extends the planing surface, and that bracket is helping float the outboard and the kicker. So that makes it so that instead of the boat sitting bow high at rest, it actually sits level. It also extends the planing surface, which means that in this case, this is a 21-footer, and but it gets registered as a 23. That's a big deal when you're crossing a bar, because if they have a bar restriction, then your boat is registered as a longer boat. That can be a big deal, especially if you're outside the bar when they put the restriction in place, and that just squeaks you in on the restriction, so you don't have to sit out in the ocean with deteriorating conditions waiting for the bar to reopen. All right, pretty Pretty basic setup in here, kind of like mine. Don't like the carpet. Do like the gunnel trays, although they're not, kind of like mine, they're not deep enough. I wish this was like down here, almost kind of as a toe kick as well, and that would offer more rod storage and better rod storage, because no fishing rods that you're going to be using on a boat like this, well, actually no fishing rods really, can you stack 3 side by side like this with the reels hanging down. Like this is too tight for rod storage. Let's see here, got a hot sink. Looks like that can be set up at, yeah, that can be set up as a live well. Nice looking cleats. Fishfighter rail system. I would want these to be seat boxes, but you already know that. This is a really nice, for not having a full like flush mount console, this is a really nice setup here with the cup holders, and somebody left their beer. You know, it's a nice big flat spot to put your fish finders. I also like the switch panel versus what my boat has. Very stubby bow on these Custom Weld. Custom Weld typically does jet boats for running really skinny water in Idaho. So they've got that very characteristic stubby bow. Fish well. I love the transom door. So a little bit earlier, I was talking about how I didn't like having the side console or a double console on these smaller boats, and if I needed to go out in the rain to keep my friends dry, I would just run an enclosure. I found a boat with that enclosure on it. It's a little bit of a bigger boat, but behold, an enclosure. So this is a guide boat. This particular guide uses a T-top center console that allows them to see over the clients. All controls are done at the helm instead of running a tiller kicker, which works for some people, not for me. Typically the guys that run T-tops do a lot of ocean fishing as well, so they're trolling out in open water a lot of the time. This is the type of enclosure that I was talking about with, you just run this over the front. You yourself, you have to sit out in the elements. It is what it is. Done it for years. It's not the end of the world. That's all ski boats over there, and I just can't be bothered. A couple of glass boats. We'll take a quick look at these. These glass boats are a different world.
I know. No, that was my fault.
Shockwave seats, that's cool. Those are some of the best seat mounts you can get. If I ever have to replace them on my boat, that's what I'll get. Problemo. I have to slouch. Not that I don't do that all the time anyways. Really nice view out the front of this, actually. My preference for a pilot house boat would be to have the windshield leaning forward. That actually, well, we'll look at one later and I'll explain it. All right, for a small sled, I should say for a small inexpensive sled, I like these RH boats. Nice big tray here, room to put a rail mount rod holders here, or oh, actually there's a rail mount right here too. That built in, that's really nice. Built into that extrusion. I'm assuming these seat boxes are screwed down, but unscrew them so you can move them around if needed, bring people farther forward, or you have plenty of room up here for either a cooler or put a small lip right here and have another section of deck to make this, build this out like a bass boat. I like that the cleats are down inside, both front and rear. Really well thought out on that so that you can hang your fenders and also not have your net get caught on the cleats. Big flat space for a bow mount trolling motor. I like these trays too. I drill holes right here, and that lets water drain overboard. Another rail slider back here. Yeah, really well thought out boats. For a 16-footer, I think it's still overpriced at $32, but all boats are overpriced right now. This is the same boat in an 18-footer. I just love how open it is. Inexpensive, relatively inexpensive, and really well thought out. Oh, the 18-footer doesn't have the cleats up here. It has it, there's one here, one over there on the underside. And yeah, you could very easily build a deck extension right here to have that be storage underneath and extra fishing space for bass fishing. I do wish it had the trolling motor pedal cut out right here, but I do like that it has some wet storage down there for an anchor rope. Oh, and here's a little bit of a difference. You got rod storage up in the gunnel hole there versus this that has flotation inside of these and your rod's there. I don't like that there's holes in that, because if this is a foam-filled box, you don't want water getting into it.
That is, like, if you go to one of the Welded, say,
Got a Boulton, what do we have? Sentinel 22. That's kind of cool, the double door. Big bow well with a gutter. So this gutter goes overboard and comes out that little hole there. That's a pretty small hole for the amount of water that can get into this deep of a bow well. That's a really small hole. My boat has a smaller bow well, and it has two really long holes right here. And a couple years later, they went to 3 of the same size holes just to get water out of the boat faster when you take a wave over the bow. I do like that door latch right there. That's really smart. Keep it from swinging and slamming. Same style as mine with the snaps directly to the door. Not necessarily a huge fan of that, but that's been done for decades like that. Rigid top frame snap in. Yep, snap in slide windows across, snap in all the way around. There's no zipper on that. I actually like that. My boat has a zipper right along this edge right here. The zipper pulls sometimes can get corroded, and then you can't open your zipper. So that's kind of a pain, but also it is, when the zippers work, it is a lot easier to operate a zipper than it is sometimes to get these snaps done up. Flotation offshore bracket. Really robust one too.
You're pulling it down on top.
I like that one.
Miller rail sliders. That is a stout rod holder. Rigid frame, soft top. I'm 6'3". I have to duck a little bit. I don't have to duck in mine. Pretty basic consoles. Does this come up? That does not. This comes. Nope, that's not. Oh, that's just there to keep stuff from sliding back. Okay. Nice bag storage underneath the consoles, though. Some built-in cup holders. Those are welded in cup holders down there. Nice big gunnel trays and deep gunnel trays.
But yeah, this setup is very common. It's very versatile. We put ski fish on it.
Fish hold. Oh, not a very wide one. And then I like these seats. I actually like this design of seat bench because there's room for. Does this turn? Well, these seats are fixed, but if you put a swivel on it, there is room here for somebody to face forward, and I've got, I don't know, 4 inches between me and the seat in front of me. even if I sit a little bit farther forward, like I have room to face forward if this seat had a swivel on it. I don't have to get up for this guy to get into his seat box. And this one does swivel, but I don't know how to unlock it. But yeah, as far as having fixed benches goes, I actually do really like this design. We've got some storage trays up top here as well on either side, plus rod storage, just like I have on my boat, and a nice net holder here too. See what I mean about the reels? If you had a few of these hanging down, you can't stack them as close as what a lot of these rod storage holders have. 20-foot sled from R&H for $50,000 for the show price. $60,000 retail. Quite a bit wider, and I'm assuming we're gonna see some similar features as the other ones, except we've got a really nice rod locker here. Nice long rod locker. Small electronics box, probably got a 9 or a 10-inch fish finder in that electronics box. Movable seat boxes. These are not dry hatch. Oh, nope, they're not dry hatch. Why would you put a gutter and then just drill a hole so the water can drain into there? That baffles me. Like, run a hose outside of the box so that your stuff in there stays dry. Manufacturers, please start doing that. This is 2025. That should be standard for a $60,000 boat. This is a 16 footer. So the helm on this one is much farther forward than the Lunds that we were looking at earlier. I do disagree with the seating arrangement in here. That should not be a big bench. If anything, the bench should be up here, and then a pedestal seat for your third seat. Little dishwashing station, that's really nice. So you can hand washing?
Yeah. So
But I also do my dish. I would do my dishes in there. Wash all my baits.
you actually hook up a little hose here for warm water.
Yep. Yeah, but yeah, great spot to wash off your super baits or your flashers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Water comes in here, and then drains here. And then,
Yep.
and then,
Yeah, down and out. Yeah. Same boat, but an 18 footer, and it doesn't have the sink. Again, not a huge fan of these benches that eats up a lot of fishing room. You're still only going to put one person there. Make it a smaller, more reasonable sized box. That's just me though. And this is the 20-foot variant of the same boat. This is where we start to make sense with the benches, but even still, I like movable seat boxes. And then this is the 22. So what, aside from the very obvious, any differences between the 20 and the 22?
Offshore bracket on it.
Oh yeah, okay, duh.
That's a big difference.
Offshore bracket, and it's a flotation bracket, so that's good.
Yeah, and you get it offshore on anything 19 and above.
Oh, nice.
So you get it offshore on this one if you want
Okay.
as well in order with it, and then there's one in between. It's the 18 and the 20. There's a 19 that can have an offshore bracket on it.
Oh, cool.
You're gonna go crabbing or take it out with the.
Yeah. I like that you've got the transom door in here.
Yeah. There's a lot of nice features on this guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Take a step in and take a look.
Yeah, later.
Oh, okay. 6'3". Really deep storage up in front of the console. That is just flat out open up there, so you could easily stuff a lot of stuff in there. With storage in this step as well. And tackle storage, nice. Fixed benches. And you can hear this one's a little bit more echoey because it doesn't have as much carpet in it as the Duckworth that we were in earlier. That's the other one that had the carpet in it.
It's accessory track on any of them. We can put this on any of them.
Yeah, that's just a standard Miller track.
Exactly.
Yeah, these are some hella stout
Yeah, aren't those nice?
rod holders. Yeah, that is crazy.
And you got your downrigger station spots here.
Yeah. And this is dry. It's also dry storage.
Yeah.
So that,
Yeah, it can be.
yeah, looks like,
It's gasketed and everything, so, you know.
yeah, well, this here might need to be sealed up a little bit, but it has the drain holes
Yeah.
in these corners that are outside of the box so that can actually be dry storage.
Either way.
It's a, as I've been looking through, there's a lot of hatches that I've seen that should be dry storage, but they're not. Like, and some of them just have the drain holes going into the box. Like, why are you putting that lip on there? Like, just make it dry storage. Have a hose or something running outside of the box so your stuff stays dry. Wash down pump too, it looks like.
Oh, yeah. And it's pretty much ready to roll. Maybe throw a
Yeah,
9 on it or something, but other than that, it's ready.
yeah. Up top here, a lot of room, radar pad. And I like that they've got the gutter here. The drain hole for the top comes out after the gutter, so this is just going to drain off and come out right here and drip down off of that. You need to have a director of some sort to put the water back in the gutter and take it away. Overall, I've got to say I'm actually pretty impressed with the RH boats.
Yeah, they're nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
$115 miles an hour. I love it. Try not to suck. Look how thin that boat is. That's crazy. Can't imagine going 115 on the water. That's insane. For you boat guys that aren't in the Pacific Northwest, you might not recognize this. This is a drift boat. These are heavily used for salmon steelhead fishing in really small rivers. Typically rowed, but sometimes you'll see guys with a small kicker on the back or a bow mount trolling motor. Here you can see where the different positions for the oarlocks for the captain. It's like Milwaukee pack out for the tackle storage. That's really, really smart. I like that a lot. I also like the fact that this boat has the opening in the middle instead of a full bench, making for easy walk around. Oh, and even adjustable bench position for the captain. A little foot lock, and then the anchor line comes up here so you can easily drop and pull anchor while you're floating down the river. And with these boats, you actually anchor facing downstream, unlike a traditional boat, because of the design of the hull. It's a universal, it doesn't matter which direction you're facing. Ooh, up here, I believe what I'm looking at is what I was talking about earlier with the handle also being a drain. It looks like that might be the case for this, where it comes out the corner, goes down that handle, down, and then in this case, it looks like it just goes down into the bilge. But that way you don't have water streaking down the side, dragging that black aluminum lines off the top. This boat does the Portland Christmas ships. It looks like it's set up as Santa's. No, this is set up as Rudolph.
It was like canceled in Milwaukee.
Got the eyes, the antlers, and then Rudolph's nose.
Not from the house, but man, that was so wild.
That's
How
cool.
did that stay upright?
Raider. From what I've heard, a few years ago, I think it was 2016, Raider got bought by somebody new. I saw the owner here earlier, but they really stepped their game up, and they now only make hardtop boats that are geared towards saltwater fishing, but they are, from what I've heard, very, very stout boats. 1/4-inch bottoms, 3/16 sides, which is still thicker than most other manufacturers. That's what most other manufacturers use for their bottoms. Take a look around here. Start from the back. We've got transom door, which obviously I like. I need to install one of these in my gunnel trays drain. I really like that. Looks like we've got all welded in floors and a clean out. So spot to keep stuff from going down, but you can also clean it out easily. That goes out and back. Love that. Dry storage. So you've got this gutter goes all the way around, and you see water goes out through this channel, out the back. So that is true dry storage, as long as this channel here doesn't get overwhelmed. Excellent design on that. I'm assuming we're going to see dry storage on all of this. Yep, that has the channel right there and there. And we'll check this one too. Yep, I can already see the channel there. A couple of screw panels, I'm not sure what those are for. I'm assuming gas tank access. Aluminum floors are definitely louder than I'm used to, but that's not the end of the world. Take a look up. Ooh, that latch is open. Take a look up here. So no gutters, water just washes off the side. It's okay. Nice radar arch and a couple of rails here and over there for holding onto while walking down the side of the boat. 10 rod holders, rear helm, all right, slight problem. I'm gonna say it again. I'm 6'3". This is my view from the rear helm. I have to squat down to be able to see. Also, I'm 6'3". I'm hitting my head while I'm standing at the rear helm. So I would probably have to have a seat here in order to drive from the rear, and that takes away from fishing space. The whole purpose of having the rear helm is so that you can stand and steer from the back and still be involved with the fishing, but then you put a chair here and kind of defeats the purpose. I do like this. So we've got a water stop here to jettison any water spray that gets up onto here overboard instead of coming back here and washing into the boat. That's a really smart design feature. Yeah, that's not a dry hatch, but that doesn't need to be a dry hatch, but it's a nice, huge compartment there for storage of whatever. Okay, so this is a lift-off seat to get into the storage here. Looks like you could get away with a little bit more storage back and underneath. Not sure quite how I feel about that, but it's okay. Big storage cubby and a nice C-deck footwell. Gunnel storage tray down the side here for boat hook or whatever. Shockwave seat mounts and a very comfortable operator's position. Howdy.
Hit that light button to get some more light in here. Hit it again. Hit it again. Keep going. One more time. Now it'll get bright. Might be able to see it.
Hey, I can see now. Thank you.
Absolutely.
That's so much better.
Yeah.
That was cool.
If you have any questions, let me know.
All right, will do. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I like the Garmin 12-inch display in here. I like that a lot. I also really like that light feature. That was dope. Troll control for the main motor. Port and starboard wiper switches. Phone chargers up here. Electro tab, trim tabs. And I can see everything. Like when the steering wheel is straight, I can see my fuel gauge. I can get to the trim tabs very easily here, although the vision is blocked from my point of view. Got our Garmin autopilot or engine information screen here. And yeah, like I said, the Garmin MFD, and it's on the side and out of the way. Like it's not obstructing your vision at all, and you're not blocked by the steering wheel. While you're underway, it's easy to reach up and touch it without having to do what I have to do and reaching up over the steering wheel. Really, really like the position of that. Really well thought out. Holy crap, that radio is huge. And some nice storage trays up top here with a little bit of wiring running through it. Oh, for the radio. And the bow well. Big rope storage box and a nice gutter going out either side. Again, same thoughts as on that Boulton. A little bit small after seeing the size of the drain holes on the North River, but overall, I like it. So earlier I mentioned that if I was to have a hardtop, I would want one with a forward-leaning windshield. I'll show you why here. So in this boat, the windshield's leaning back, and it kind of encroaches on the operating station. You do have a small tray up here, but you'll see how much more room is inside of the forward-leaning windshield boat when we go look at that one here in just a second. So this is a 25-foot boat, and Raider's offshore bracket is flipping huge. You can run a single or a twin on this, and it's just this monster of a flotation offshore bracket. So here you can see what I was talking about with the windshield leaning kind of back. Biggest advantage to the forward lean windshield. So with this one, rain comes down, it hits the windshield and goes off. Now when you get to these, one, they look freaking awesome. And two, with the forward lean, you have that brow up above the windshield. So it helps keep rain off of the windshield. Also, with the windshield being leaning forward, it actually helps water wash off of the windshield even better. Plus, I mean, you gotta be honest, that's a badass looking boat. Let's go take a look inside.
Ahoy, Justin from Selkirk Marine here. Let me give you guys a tour of this 280 Offshore.
All right, what do we got?
Where would you like to start?
Wherever you want me to start.
Well, let's start right here on the back deck where all the fun happens.
Okay.
So this is our 280 Offshore. First of all, you'll look down at the deck here. This is all embossed diamond plate. This comes standard with our 280 Offshores. This is a self-belling deck, and this deck has been fully welded out. If you move into the cabin here, we have LVP flooring in here. Underneath that is all a welded deck as well. Every single one of your seat boxes is all welded down. You never have to have them worried about moving around on you or anything. So this is our sleeper, or our half dinette over here. We do have two Shockwave suspension seats up front, and then a 40-inch bench seat. Back over here, we do have our second steering station with main engine controls. We do have two Honda 250s on this boat. This boat will be headed down to California for like tuna fishing and stuff like that.
Okay.
So we do have a aft steering station, the Garmin 1243 up there. We've got our full rocket launchers all the way across the top. They're all anodized aluminum. There is a little T in the very bottom of these, so your rods can't come down and bottom out on the reels there. So Every boat comes standard with a washdown, which you can see over here. We do have 2 side shelves. Back over here, this is where our batteries are. And we got Odyssey AGM batteries back here. You got 1 per motor and 1 for the house. You do have a transom fish box right here.
Nice.
Drains directly out the back of the boat. Back over here is where our battery switches are with all breakers. So you don't have to worry about any fuses popping on you.
Is this standard on all of your other boats too?
Absolutely.
Nice.
The cool thing is too, you pop these 2 screws out right here, and this whole panel folds down if you ever have to get to the back, if you want to add any more things or replace anything or just do any kind of maintenance. So, like I said, it is a self-bailing deck, so here's a gutter that goes directly out the back. We do have some scuppers we can show you when we hop out the back.
Okay.
And they are not the ping pong style, so you don't have to worry about anything getting stuck in there.
Nice.
So, right here,
Oh, in the way again.
right here is our in-floor fish box. And it is quite large, so you can fit plenty of fish in there. It does have a gutter that goes all the way around it that does drain into the gutter.
I noticed that on the other one. It's the first one I've seen that actually has dry storage.
Absolutely. So, yep. And they're all greasable hinges that have been welded on,
Oh, nice.
so no corrosion points there. So you can grease them, long lasting right there. Back in here,
Oh,
just
maintenance.
a bunch of your rigging. So you got your fuel water separators in there. You have your washdown pump. You got your pump for your in-floor fish box, and a bunch of the other rigging. Do have a separate fuse block right there for all of our Scotty plugs.
So what is this screwed down panel here?
So this screwed down panel does have a gasket all the way underneath of it to keep water from going in there, but we have to have access to our fuel tank.
Okay.
So yep, if you need to change out a
that's
fuel
what I thought
saving
that was,
unit
yeah.
or you know, hoses, you know, hose clamps and stuff, you'll want to be able to access stuff like that.
Yeah, okay.
So, yep. We made this little custom set for this customer. That's the nice thing about Raider boats is we're super custom. So if you want something like that, just tell us your ideas and we'll try and help you guys out. So
this is so he can easily step up and walk down the side as needed.
that or just kind of a bench.
I guess sitting.
or.
Yeah.
Same thing with this. This is a garbage can. You can use it as a garbage can. You can use it as a cooler. You can use it as a step. You can use it as a seat. So that's just kind of another custom option we have.
Yeah.
So back in here to the cabin. This is our helm. We do have 2 flush-mounted 1243s. More main engine controls. We're using the Garmin Fusion stereo. We do have a autopilot on this boat, so you can run the autopilot on either of these, this one, or the back screen. You have all your switches over here for navigation lights, cabin lights, you name it.
Yeah.
The anchor winch, so everything. Then we have a cuddy under here. You do have a lot of storage right here. Those seat cushions do cover up that, so when you want to sleep up there, no problem. Couple shelves.
a couple shelves on the side too. Nice.
Yep. And they're all fully carpeted too, so you don't have to worry about stuff rattling around.
Yeah.
The other nice thing is the carpeted up here. Have this little lip right here, so you put cell phones up here and stuff like that.
It's not going to fall off. Yeah.
fall off on you. So VHF up there.
Is it 2 VHFs or?
Yep. So
Okay.
that's a handheld one.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, storage tray up here as well.
Absolutely.
What is?
So this is just
Just a beauty panel.
well, yeah, it's a roof panel, but underneath this, every single spot that you see screw line is a 1x2 channel, and in between each channel, we actually put rigid foam up there for insulation.
Oh, okay.
And this isn't just like, it's just not just fabric, it's actually glued to a thin piece of aluminum. It's 100 gauge aluminum. So if you do need to take this down, it's not going to be like falling down on you. You take the screws down, the whole thing comes down if you need to access, you know, power to the lights or you want to run other stuff. So
So then the insulation will also keep heat from coming in and making this a hot hellhole.
exactly. Or in the wintertime,
Keep your heat in.
yeah.
Diesel heater, I'm assuming?
We don't have a diesel heater in this boat. Usually we would have that installed over here. This boat's going down to California.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So that
Not
guy,
that big of a deal.
He didn't request the diesel heaters. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alaska, another story.
Absolutely.
So then lots of storage underneath these
Yep.
seats, it looks like.
So big storage under there. Again, all carpeted.
Yep.
Yep. Big giant in-floor storage too.
And is this where the Seakeeper would go as well if it was installed?
Seakeeper would go actually, so we kind of redesigned this boat a little bit, and now the Seakeeper would actually take up the space for the that back fish box.
So it'd go back there instead.
Yep, and then we
Okay.
would do 2 big saddle boxes on either side. So
So here and here?
Yep. Yep, similar
Gotcha.
to that coastal you were just in.
Yeah.
It would have saddle boxes just like that. So,
Okay.
Yep. There's more storage under here.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And same thing. We have those same greasable zerks.
Greasable
right there.
Zerks, yeah.
Yep. This one's a nice feature too. We do have the sliding glass door.
Yeah, I saw this on another boat earlier and was really impressed. It was the same door with the little locky.
Yep. So lock the cabin
Handle.
up, no problem.
Yeah.
And you do have a nice 30-inch overhang right here, so you can get out of the weather.
I'm assuming you guys also will do roof racks and stuff for guys that would want to have crab pots or whatever
Yep.
up there,
Most definitely,
or life rafts.
for sure. So
Cool deal.
yeah,
So outside.
yeah. Let's go on out.
Oh, another detail I noticed on here that I want to put on my boat is these little drains on
Yep.
the shelves.
Yep. Just to help
That's-
drain the shelves out.
Yeah.
And just drain straight
I also
down.
like that you didn't put carpet back here.
Jesus. I don't know why people do that.
Yeah. Salt water gets in there and then it holds in. Yeah.
Yep.
I have
Another
carpet
thing-
on my shelves and it's silly.
Yeah, another thing we really like to do is these burn winds.
Yeah, those are cool.
Check them out. These guys do a phenomenal job. You can put downriggers, you can put knife holders, fishing rod holders, as you can see with that
Yeah.
one.
And they're the burly
Yeah.
rod holders too.
Yep.
If I can do this one-handed. Yeah, there we
There
go.
you go. Yeah.
Whack things around.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, these rod holders are hell for stout. I use the full bees on my boat because I don't go tuna fishing.
Sure.
But these are impressive
Very
rod holders.
impressive. Yep. Yep. Well, come on out here. So like I said, we got the twin Hondas back here. We do have the fully chambered offshore bracket. So it's completely separate from the back of the boat. The bottom plate does start right here and goes all the way to the tip though. It's incorporated in the build. And like I said, the bottom plate is 1/4 inch. Sides on this bad boy are 190, so they're super thick.
That's 3/16.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the bottom on a lot of other boats.
Exactly, yep.
So-
We really make these things stout. So we do have trim tabs. This is that scupper I was telling you about. We
Oh,
do have
nice.
An extension
Yeah.
cord ran through there to charge the batteries at the end of the day today. But yeah, they're not those little ping pong ball things that you see on most boats.
Yeah.
So everything can come out there.
Tractor flapper.
Exactly.
I like your
so that's
drain plug storage too.
Exactly.
That's
Not a lot
really
of people
cool.
know what that is, but that's literally just to store the plugs at the end of the
Yeah.
day, so you don't forget them in the wrong coat or truck or whatever. You always
What-
have them with the boat.
And in my boat, I store them in the gunnel right. I've got a 22-foot North River.
Okay.
So I store them in the gunnel right here, and I always have to climb up and over to grab it.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
So we don't.
Actually, I might, because I've got my kicker bracket right here, I might just drill a hole.
Sure.
Just drill a hole so I can store my drain plugs.
That's not a bad idea.
in there, yeah.
Yeah. So then we do have 2 welded rub rails on this. We do weld out the top gunnel extrusion and the bottom, so it's fully welded. So it's welded on the inside as well. So.
Okay.
Yep. Double
And
welded
that becomes that prevents that from becoming a corrosion point as well.
Absolutely. Yep.
That's
So.
That's
Then the
good.
logo is-
I like
is
your
fully
welded,
welded.
your new welded logo.
Yep.
That's really cool.
Yep. This right here is part of our manifold system. You couldn't quite see that behind the batteries, but basically what this is one spot for like 4 different pumps. You have 3 different bilge pumps in this boat, and the in-floor fish box all pumping out of one spot.
That's
So,
awesome.
There's no plastic through-hole fittings on this boat anywhere.
That's awesome.
Don't want to come up to a dock and bump one of those, and now you're not doing so well. So
Yeah.
Yep. Then up to the
Well, and also again removes the corrosion point.
Right here, we do have our fill spots, and we do have 2 gas caps. And you kind of wonder, why do you have 2 gas tanks? Do you have 2 gas tanks? No, 1 gas tank, 160-gallon gas tank in this bad boy, but you can use the other as a vent. So you can pump the fuel in there a lot quicker. You pop both open, and it goes right in, and then just the other one's venting. So
Nice.
3 gigantic
Huge.
cleats.
Huge cleats.
Yep, they're all fully welded on there too. So, and then we do have the bow rails that go pretty much all the way up the bow, and then again, they're all anodized as well. And we're sitting on a tough trailer. We really like these tough trailers. They've been great to work with, great for us, great for the boats. So they handle these large boats no problem.
Nice.
Got the Morite antenna up there for the VHF. If you guys don't have those are wonderful. Let's say you're coming under a low bridge and you smack it or something like that, or your buddy forgets to put it down before you go home and end up smacking it on overpass or something like that. You can simply take the antenna off the top. It just unthreads right there with an Allen wrench up there.
Oh, okay.
And the cable comes out of it, so you don't have to fish that cable all the way back through like some of the other antennas.
Oh.
So,
which is kind of a big deal when it's up on top of something.
Yes.
Because like on my boat, it's just mounted to the top of the gunnel, but I know on other boats, it'll be mounted, the antennas will be mounted on the radar arch and run down, the cable will be run down through that, or in this case, it's running all through the
roof.
the roof.
Yep, so a lot easier to change out. So then we have a roller up front. We do have a Lumar windlass up there.
Okay.
And there is a big box that maybe when you were in the
I saw
cuddy
that
there.
in the cuddy.
And that's just to store all of your chain and rod. So.
Okay, and this is for a sand anchor, right?
Yep, you can. Well, we usually like run like a Delta anchor or something like that, 22 pound. So,
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, that's the 280 offshore. We build this in a 260, a 280, and a 300. So.
So a 30-footer.
Exactly.
And is that measured to the back of the boat or to the back of the actual offshore bracket?
It is from the tip of there to basically right here. So
Yeah, so it's to the back of the transom.
the back of the transom, yes.
Yeah, not to the back of the offshore
This is not included in that.
Okay.
Technically, the full.
So you can
length
register this as a 30-footer.
is, 28, and then this would be like 31 feet.
Oh, 31, okay.
Yeah.
Cool deal. Well, thanks for showing me around.
Absolutely. It was very
Pleasure.
nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too. Well, that was actually a really, really cool tour. I've watched a lot of, so that was Selkirk Marine, and I've watched a lot of their videos on YouTube when I was researching for buying my boat. Of course, unfortunately, the Raiders are way outside of my price bracket, but I did really like a lot of what I saw on their videos that had a huge impact on the boat that I chose to buy. Also, a huge impact on the things that I look for in boats, the features I look for in boats. So go ahead and give Selkirk Marine a follow on YouTube. Check their videos out. Very educational and, again, very, very well thought out and well-designed boats that are, they're built very stout. All right, and here we've got a couple of Weldcrafts. We'll take a quick poke around in these. It's the 240 Ocean King. It's like twin Yamaha 200s. And next to it, we've got the 210 Revolution. So we got a 24-footer and a 21-footer. Take a quick look at these. I like the Bernouin mounted fish tray that drains off of the boat onto the offshore bracket. Not sure about the sea deck being back here personally, but that is a stout looking cutting board. Nice large fish box. Bernouin everywhere. So we got a swing door on this boat, which will have a latch up there. Here we go. So you can see the advantage of the sliding doors that we saw on the Raider and that Alumaweld earlier. Same problem as I had on the 250 Coastal, where I have to duck down in order to see out. I wonder if any of the manufacturers would ever make that hole bigger for taller guys like me. Another nice big spot for your MFD, although this one is hidden behind the steering wheel. Nice flat spots for phones or a diesel heater vent. A little netted storage up here, although this would be, that would be a head knocker for me. And then a bunch of, ooh, nice handholds and a bunch of cubbies up here. Could go for a little bit better lighting in here personally. I like the cup holders integrated into this transom tray and the fact that the transom tray has drains in it and it's angled so that water will actually get out of the drains. That's really nice. Drains in the back of the gunnel trays. You got a wash down switch there. Good spot for the kicker bracket here, and it looks like we've got a hose inlet for a worm wash station. We'll see if I can find that inside. $93,000 for a 21-footer. Flotation, offshore bracket. That ladder is really nice. I like that. Ski pole, same as the other one. I don't see the worm hand wash station, so maybe that's not what that's for. I'm 6'3". I have headroom. I like that. Same button system as on my North River. I like that they have the handle here. Another nice big spot for, you could fit a 10 or 12 inch MFD in there easily. They've got your engine display up here, visible out of the way, no trim tabs. And netted storage up here. I don't know if you can see that or not. Decent amount of netted storage and a dry hatch that's not a dry hatch. And also water. That's for anchor rope anyways, so you have your anchor rope come out there and go up, so that's not the end of the world. There's your scuppers for the bow area, and this is a very shallow bow area, so those scuppers are probably appropriate, and any extra water would just wash off the side overboard. And a nice flat spot for a bow mount trolling motor. Big flat spot for that. You can see a little bit of a different view of the bow area. That would be a good spot for bass fishing off of a boat that normally wouldn't be used for bass fishing with how that's laid out. All right, I'm not gonna spend too much time focusing on these. Well, I'm not going to focus at all on those, but we will come through here and look at some of the party boats. Wow, shockingly, I'm actually really surprised at the price of some of these. 19-footer for 45, a 19.5 for 51, top speed 50 miles an hour. And these are not my style of boats, but okay, that's just silly. A screen within a screen that looks like it's tilted. Why? Why? Comfy boat though. Lots of storage. I'm 6'3". Bit of a more fishing oriented glass boat here. Like the removable flooring for cleaning. That's really smart. Everything meant to hose off. Really smart. Nice rod storage, and these are properly distanced apart so you can actually hang 3 rods there.
This is where, like, you want to come here and buy boats?
Room for a radio up top. Cruise control. Huh. Bait tank. I'm gonna change my battery out. and we'll go look at the ridiculous boats. The ones that I will never be able to afford. Unless enough of you like and subscribe, then maybe someday I might be able to afford one of these. Let's go take a look at a few. All right. I am out of my element. I have no idea what I'm on. It's big. It has a big steering wheel, big helm.
We got 105 hours on it. I was like, oh hell. I was like, those motors are gonna leak like crazy. It's never ran it.
I mean, I'm walking normally down the gunnel. Can't do that on my boat. Couch up here. Looks really cool with the frameless windows. The pop-up TV in that one is kind of cool. We'll go look at that in a minute.
Whatever. So
Good.
what you run into is people, instead of taking their boat to vacation, they're still doing 2 or 3, those things. And I used to have conversations with this boat's $500,000,
Really nice bunk rooms.
a year. I'm like, well, how much do you spend on vacation? 20 grand for 4 of us, Yeah. So this is now your vacation, and that makes sense. So what to make it affordable and
Really nice wet bath.
I'm just coming up with ideas. Why are people not using this much? For me,
Hi. See how long my microphone lasts here. Is there storage underneath here? No. Just follows the V. Sorry, my microphone died, so you have to deal with the onboard microphone until I get a little bit more charge on this and see how much farther I get in this show. Really nice covered seating area here. Nice galley. Some This is nicer than most RVs I've been in. Really like this helm with the 2 displays and a reasonably sized wheel. I'm 6'3", plenty of room to stand up. Nice pad here in case I hit my head. Fold down TV. Oh man, that view is incredible. Also be really easy to run somebody over that was right in front of you because you can't see a thing for like 40 feet in front of you. Nice berth with a little bit of a small wardrobe, but usable. Oh, 2 queen berths. Look at that. Dry bath, the full-blown. There's your shower door. Full-blown closed shower. Another head with another shower. A little bit larger wardrobe. I like the lighting along the side trays there.
Yeah, that's approach.
Induction cooktop, sink. It's a little bit smaller cabin than the last one we were looking at. Still a really nice helm with room for a second MFD. Digital engines with the joystick steering, that's really cool. I'm 6'3", I got headroom. Another fold-up TV. Got two-person berthing down here. And another, well, it'd be a tight two. Katie and I could sleep in this one, but it'd be a little tight. Oh, there's the refrigerator. We got here probably access for the, yep, that's the ugly stuff. And then the V-berth, some interesting having the mattress curved like that at the foot of the bed. Oh, I see. One bathroom with two entrances. Can I stand? I can. I can fully stand in the shower, although I would have to squat down to get underneath the shower nozzle. Oh, nice. Got a shade sail out here for whoever's riding on the bow, or to keep the sun out of the windscreen. Bow ladder. Oh.
Right. Well, you got me.
Nice view of the whole boat show from up here. There's the 250 coastal and the 280 offshore that we were looking at earlier. All right, now to get down without dying. And just so I can say I showed it, there's a ski boat. And on that terrible, terrible disappointment, it's time to end this video out. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so I can maybe someday afford one of those ridiculous boats. And hopefully you learned something. Which way is out? That way. Hopefully you learned something today, and hopefully it helps you on your boat shopping journey. Have a good one. Bye.